Hello, folks, and welcome to New Geometry. It's George Leoniak, and I'm back with another video. Pretty recently after my last one on the heptagon, we're going to look at the seven-sided polygon again. Ever since I put out that video, I've got quite a few people interested in heptagon constructions. Aaron Brown and Rich Jarvis have been working on it. And Rich sent me an awesome construction, super accurate, 99.999996 percent accuracy. So I've worked with that over the past evening and this morning, and I'm going to share that with you here today. So let's just share the screen and do a little bit of a follow-up with where I left off in the last video. So the construction of the heptagon, the seven-sided polygon, and the two types of heptagram stars that you can do within that, one of the key features we're going to be looking for in this is that we want to be able to draw this with a compass and an unmarked straight edge, as well as this internal angle here of 128.571. So the way I left off my last video was I compared 7 methods in it, and the 7th Heaven method at the end of the video, which was this one right here, I have 2 methods, I'll show you what those were, came up to be 99.97% accurate, 75% accurate, and I compared that to John Michel's heptagon and Robert Grant's Da Vinci's heptagon square, the square for getting the heptagon. And you could check that all out in the previous video. So I just wanted to overview the 2 methods that I had here because they were both amazingly, and just to reiterate this again, 2 seemingly different methods that both use the phi ratio. This one was built on the golden rectangle, and this one was built on the golden circles. These 2 are kind of like twins because they produce the same angles in both of these constructions. And that was just mind-blowing that phi ratio could produce, 2 different techniques, produce the same heptagon in the end. Highly accurate. I thought it would be the most accurate one we could get out there, but I knew there was room to grow. I just didn't realize it'd be in maybe 1 or 2 days after I posted that video. So the golden circle 7th Heaven icosahedron one, I thought was really a pretty slick method because when I go about trying to find a polygon, I don't just go in with the intention of finding the polygon and just seeing if I could find the angle. I usually am working with the polyhedra, like the icosahedron and the dodecahedron, all the platonic solids. And then I'm seeing some angles, might work out to see if I can construct the polygon within that. And this one was built on the icosahedron, which is in red, and it's constructed with these red edges of the icosahedron, giving the base of the septagon or the heptagon here. And then I have a method of figuring out how to get the rest with 1 golden ratio circle. So both the methods I came up with were phenomenal and created with the golden ratio. So, Rich of the Welcome to the Golden Page is his Facebook page. So go and check that out. He, within a day or 2 after checking out that video, said he was going to go, go for the gold. He was going for the gold. And he did. He did an amazing construction that he sent to me. It took me 2 times to get it accurate. The first one, I sent him back some results that were really some error on my end that I didn't quite see, because there's a tricky little part right in here that I'll describe. So this one is built off of a hexagon and a square and the same edge length here that they're sharing at the base. Now that's going to turn into our heptagon edge. There's 2 edges of the heptagon right here, and incredibly 128.571 433. So, I mean, it's 99.999% accuracy based on his calculation. I didn't even bother to do it because 128.571, if you're like dead on the mark there, is just phenomenal. So then my question was, well, how do we build this out to get the rest of the construction? So we'll show that in just a little bit of how that works. But this is the only slide that I have of kind of how Rich went about his process here. And it was kind of like working backwards from a perfect heptagon and finding where the intersection point. So here's our heptagon edge right here, and discovering this line and how it intersected the vesica and how it was going to relate to the square in here. So I don't fully understand his method completely, but this is the technique that he used. And there's a lot going on in this section of how he niftily figured out how to get this line so we could start constructing the heptagon. So really awesome job. I was just so thrilled to be part of that inspirational process. And, after Rich said that he was able to go back and, show me that the heptagon worked in terms of following the circles all the way around, yeah, it gets the gold clearly at that level of accuracy. And the way that he got well, I haven't drawn it, he hasn't drawn in the heptagon here, but you just connect these points and you'd get the 7 sides all the way around it pretty easily. You just have to get a perpendicular line to this blue edge here, and that finds the center point of the heptagon, and you can draw a circle around. So I tested all this out just to verify everything, because as in my last video, I said the peer review process of checking out each other's work, even, amateur geometers or even the professional geometers like they do for their peer-reviewed material in mathematical journals, I assume. There's no reason that us amateur geometers out here can't double check our material, because some of us are just doing incredible work. And I'm so thankful that the community of geometers are growing, and the sharing of people's constructions, our insights in regard to this is really, I think, part of sacred geometry's golden age of how we're going to take this to the next level, especially with the technology that we now have available to get super precise and reconstruct it backwards so that we can hand draw these highly accurate forms more so than we ever could on Earth before. So this is a solid gold approach here. The angles are all 128.571, 433, and 7141 at the top. So, I mean, very marginal error throughout this altogether here. And when I put it into the program that I mostly work with, the Sketches program, which doesn't have the precision that GeoGebra does, it's 100% accurate, meaning that the program itself cannot detect the difference of error with the heptagon. When I overlay a perfect one over top of this, it reads these points as if they are just perfect gold. And we have to realize that's almost, because I've been fooled by this computer before when I was working on the nonagon and the trisecting the angle version of the nonagon. So there's another little geometer going for the gold challenge. Check out my nonagon video, the one with the flower of life, which trisects the angle, nearly to 100% as well. So if Rich or anybody else wants another level to figure out how to get that nonagon, I'd love to see that one as well. So from what I can tell, based on my very limited perspective, that this is most likely probably the most accurate heptagon construction on Earth that we've seen. And the next step, so yeah, congratulations to Rich Jarvis. He's got a lot of followers or people who like his page. Please go, if you're new, don't know Rich stuff, just phenomenal artistic representations, a lot of ancient wisdom going on the page there as well. So check it out. Welcome to the golden page. And the next step in my process of connecting and relating to this form was to do the hand-drawn version, just to make sure that this is something that is technically easy to do, or relatively easily to do, with just the real tools rather than the construction on the computer, which is trying to simulate the compass and straight edge. But when we put it really to the test and lay it out with the traditional tools, it would be very hard for a geometer of the olden days to kind of figure this out, because we work backward from the heptagon of perfect heptagon to get all these angles worked out. But it does work really nicely. And I had no problems just going out and the cross marks as I worked my way up to the left and right on both of these sides to meet at the middle point. That heptagon edge just goes smoothly around. You know, maybe a little error can happen when you're doing your perpendicular line here, which you can just, you know, you don't need a square to do that. That you can do it just with circles as well, you know, just like a vesica, and send the line over in both sides. I did to double check. The only tricky part to the whole construction, at least when you're doing it on a hand drawn, is that there's actually this inner circle to the larger one right here, the darkish grayish green one. This one on the inside of it is, there's two circles here. One's just slightly bigger because one is on the horizontal line here going across the hexagon. And that's the first one you do. And the second one is on this line here that comes down and it meets that line. So when you're doing it hand drawn, it's very imperceptible, the difference between those two circles, because you need that circle to draw this horizontal line across to get the two bottom edges of the three edges here, these two off to the side, to start off the heptagon and work your way around. So that's the only little detail in hand drawn where the precision starts to get a little blurred with even just the width of your pencil and your compass lead as it's going around. But other than that, I was really happy with how this worked out. I mean, it's a pure, just golden construction. Now, it doesn't have the golden ratio. Of course, golden ratio is throughout these designs. We didn't use the golden ratio specifically, but it is just a really technically oriented drawing that gets the job done. So yeah, congrats again to Rich. And I will just say a little bit more about you know, my process in this and the community that's growing, which I'm so excited for, these shares that go on as well. And then when we do this sacred geometry, you know, we really have to approach it in a selfless type of way. The geometry of has to lead the discovery process here. So, you know, we've got to let go of the idea that we might have the most perfect version of this. And I'm still grateful that, you know, Rich has got that little 0.6% error or something way at the back end of that, because this is still something for geometers to keep going for and looking into. So, you know, this notion of the imperfection that's associated with this is really great. We don't need to get this kind of 100%. Maybe that will come someday, but we've, you know, letting go of the attachment of being the best or the number one or having it all figured out or solved is such a huge lesson when you start to let go of those types of things in order to engage with the sacred geometry in a way that allows it to speak for itself, and you become a vehicle for its expression. And it's so much bigger than us in terms of what we're really sharing. You know, it's less about making your name the most memorable, but really a contribution to a whole field. Remember, this is an ancient symbol that people have been drawing for thousands and thousands of years. And, you know, that's what's going to continue on, is that this construction that Rich, or the golden circle method, is part of a whole sacred geometry language that's an ever evolving language. And that symbol is going to continue on, or that construction will continue on. And in order to do that and pass that on to the future generations in a way that is clean, is to be completely open with unattached as possible to the work and just let the geometry present itself. So it's a real mindset that the geometer has to take on to realize that this material is going to live on well past the lifespan of one life. So anyway, much love and appreciation. Thanks again, Rich, for sharing all that. And I'm just really, once again, super thankful to bring this to you here, and look forward to many new discoveries. Next video coming up is working on the neocontahedron, the 90-sided polygon. Lots of new polyhedrons, excuse me. 90-sided form, this one right here. We'll be doing a lot on this next one. So great discoveries that have been coming up with this. And I think that's about it for the heptagon. unless I get another one coming in that's that 100%er, look out for that video in the future. Subscribe to my channel if you like this video, please, and check out, I teach people to draw in my apprenticeship, and I also have a Patreon as well, so you can check out some of those things as well. And subscribe to the New Geometers Facebook group, because it's really growing like exponentially each day, getting close to 1,000 members there. And that is just fantastic. So much great learning and shares happening there all the time. So, okay, once again, much love and peace. We'll see you. Bye.